In this unit, you'll learn a bit about the role of walking in Buddhist traditions. Walking is something that most of us do every day, and yet most of us don't think a lot about it. And maybe we do it without thinking about it at all. But walking is an embodied activity that philosophers from all over the world have thought a lot about. Walking, for some philosophers, is a way of being, not just a way to get somewhere. The philosopher Frederick Gross, for example, who wrote a book on the philosophy of walking, wrote, "You're doing nothing when you walk, nothing but walking. But having nothing to do but walk makes it possible to recover pure sensations of being, to recover the simple joy of existing, the joy that permeates the whole of childhood." He also said that when you walk, you're no longer a role or a status, not even an individual, but a body. So for people who think a lot about walking, and maybe you might be able to relate to this, walking is a way of grounding one's thoughts in a personal and embodied experience of the world. As Rebecca Solnit says, walking can maybe even kind of extend your sense of self into the landscape. To explore how contemporary Buddhists have thought about the role of walking in Buddhist cultures, we'll have a chance in this unit to look at a few films on walking and read some articles discussing those films. One is Tsai Ming Liang's film called Walker from 2012, which depicts a Buddhist monk's performance of walking meditation in the busy metropolis of Hong Kong. You can then also read an analysis of that film by Tang Guan Ying, who talks about how the film uses the monk's meditative slowness and attentive simplicity in contrast to the fast-paced speed of modernity. He links that also to something called slow cinema, or the broader slow movement, which he explains is a worldwide sociocultural revolution against the cult of speed that has driven globalizing modernity to frantic dis-ease. He suggests that we can recapture a sense of joy about being alive by simply appreciating basic activities like walking or eating. He also cites the very famous contemporary Vietnamese Buddhist teacher and writer Thich Nhat Hanh, who says, "We walk all the time, but usually it's more like running. Our hurried steps print anxiety and sorrow on the earth." Thich Nhat Hanh also writes, "Life is here, in each step. For this reason, we must walk in such a way that life arises out of each step." You'll also have a chance to read an article by Ezra Li on the politics of Buddhist walking meditation and contemporary art in Southeast Asia. He writes about a number of contemporary artists who feature Buddhist practices of walking in their art in different ways. The articles and films you'll study in this unit could be good examples for you to use to think about your own final creative project for this class. In addition to the more simple forms of walking meditation, in this unit you'll also learn about Buddhist forms of pilgrimage in Tibet and Japan. A film about Tibetan pilgrimage will be paired with a reading on that topic by Kate Hartman, who writes about how pilgrimage is a ritual process for embodying the Buddhist idea that how the world appears first to our eyes is not how it really is. So pilgrimage can be a way of changing our perception of the landscape or of the world, but also the world or the natural environment changes the pilgrim who travels through that landscape. Pilgrimage spots can grant blessings on people who visit those places, for example, so the land is alive with spiritual power. As another example of an embodied Buddhist practice, you'll be able to watch a film on a contemporary adaptations of the Japanese Buddhist practice called Shugendo, which is about walking and climbing in mountains as a means for self-cultivation and healing. This is another example of how core Buddhist teachings are placed in the body or enacted in the body. And it's also an example of the importance for many Buddhist traditions of engaging in Buddhist practices in beautiful natural places.